well, I'm not ready for a care home yet, but I just knew that the house I was living in, which is next door, was I wouldn't be able to manage it on my own. I didn't want to be there on my own because I'd been there with my husband and family. And so I thought, I know quite a few people in the neighbouring village, so I thought I'd live there, but I couldn't think where I wanted to live there. And I was talking to a friend about it, and she said, why don't you have a log cabin in the garden? Because she knew we've got a big garden. So I thought, okay. So I looked online, and log cabin sounded nice, but I knew that log cabins needed care because of the wood involved. And then I found iHus, and it just seemed ideal, and I watched the interviews and read up about it, and so that's what I decided to do. And family wanted to buy my house, and they were happy for me to be here, and I'm happy to be here. I just looked up annexes, and these seemed really nice, and I liked the idea of everything they did for you, like getting, permission to build and everything. So I thought, well, that's good. So I just felt they'd be doing most of it for me, which they have done. And I discussed it with my family because I know, I like to have advice, and they felt it was a good option. I didn't know anybody else with iHus. Who was it came to see me? Andy. He talked me through it, and I didn't really have any idea how much choice I'd have, but I knew roughly what I wanted, and everything I wanted I could have. And then what I liked was that I got the plan sort of after about a month or so, and then I could do any changes, and that's when I decided to have an ensuite as well as a bathroom, because if I have visitors, then it just makes it more convenient. Lovely. It's warm, it's sunny, it's cosy, and it's just really, really comfortable. Well, I have lived in the house alone for a bit, but I did feel a bit anxious about being on the ground floor, because I go upstairs to bed and you feel safer, don't you? And I did feel anxious, but feel perfectly secure. I haven't got many neighbours because I'm right in the middle of nowhere, but I've got neighbours who walk dogs and neighbours I know, and they're really keen to come in and have a look, and they think it's lovely. They just think it's lovely. And they all feel it fits in with the countryside. I mean, I've got neighbours who are converting old farm buildings, and I thought, oh gosh, this isn't going to be like an old farm building, but it's still, it is harmonious with the countryside, I feel. Absolutely brilliant. And what I always commented on is that when a job needed doing, they came. The plumbers came just when they were needed, the plasterers came, and when the plasterers came, they were here till 10 o'clock because they had a job in London the next day. I said, why aren't you going? And they said, well, we're going to finish this, and because they finished it. And I had a list of 19 people for tea and coffee, and I knew all their names and all their coffees and all their things they wanted. And it was really good. And they came and went, and stuff came over the hedge from the lorry, big lorries came, stuff came over the hedge and filled up garden. And there weren't any wasted days, I didn't feel. Even the weather was really, really bad and they were there, even if it was raining. It's good. I've said several times that, you'd think that the floor would be springy and it would be echoey, and it's not. It feels really substantial. And people have commented on that as well. And everybody's commented on the height of this particular room, which is lovely and airy, and the bedrooms are lower ceilings, but that's just as good in there as well. I went to look at one, and the kitchen was all along one side, an open plan, which was fine, suited her obviously. And I just liked the idea of having it closed off so that I could be cooking in there if I'd got guests, and the cooking smells wouldn't spread out, and I could be private, and I could close the door off, and then it would be shut. I'm really looking forward to the family coming. I've got 2 school friends, we go on holiday together, the same age as me, and they're really looking forward to coming. They'll be my first guests. My grandchildren called it the Annexe, and they're in their 20s, and they say, how's your Annexe going? And they want to come and stay with me, and they would like me to call it the Annexe, but I'm not going to. I'm calling it something else. But what I plan to do is a lot of sewing and writing and having people round and living a much simpler life, because it's smaller but plenty big enough.